Hello, Wayne Elementary. Happy Tuesday. And also happy Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. I hope you all had a great weekend, got some time to get out in the sun and maybe do your texture rubbings. All right, so now we're going to put those texture rubbings to use. So I have a sketch here of what I want my collage to look like. So, can you zoom in on this bit? All right, so I was envisioning a collage of a landscape. A landscape, if you'll remember, is an image of a place. So, a landscape collage then is a collage picture of a place. And what is a collage? Well, a collage is an image created from different materials. You can use all papers, you could use natural objects, you can use metal, basically anything you want. So I'm going to use almost all paper for my collage with just a few extras. So I've got some of my textured papers here that I made with my last video. All right, so I'm going to show you now, and one more. And I'm going to show you now what I'm going to do. My collage is like, if you looked at my picture, it's going to be a tree with hills in the background and some dirt and some clouds in the sky. So what am I going to use for all that? So the first piece that I'm going to use is my blue sky. I have here, it's called tag board, and basically it's a piece of cardboard. This is what I'm going to be gluing all my papers onto. If you don't have something like tag board, you could use the back of a cereal box, you could use any type of box, honestly. Just something that's kind of a stiff surface that you can glue things onto. I'm going to be using a combination of liquid glue and a glue stick. If you don't have either of those, what you could do is you could mix up a paste of flour and water. You put a little bit of flour into a bowl, mix small amounts of water into it, stir it, and that actually makes a glue that you can use. All right, so let's get started. Got my sky texture paper. This paper I made by rubbing over leaves with crayon, and then I painted over it with watercolor paint. Oh, my kitty's gonna jump in for a second, I think. He's sniffing the dandelions that I grabbed for this. All right, so I'm gonna open my glue, and the first thing I'm gonna do is make sure that this fits onto my background paper. So I know that it's not going to fit this way. So I'm gonna actually turn it this way and then cut off the extras. So first I'm going to glue that piece on, and that's going to be the background. Now one of the key components, my kitty is really feeling like he wants to join us. One of the key components of collage is layering. So this is going to be the bottom layer of my collage. The sky, the hills, and then the grass. All right, so I've got my sky on, and it's a little bit, it overlaps my background paper a little, so I'm going to have to cut that off later. Yeah, Kitty really is interested today. This is Oliver. Hi, Ollie. Okay, now for my hills in the background, I've got this textured paper, and I've got this textured paper. I'm going to use both of them. So my first hill is going to go right about here. Now the little thing about collage, Henri Matisse, who is a French artist, called collage drawing with scissors, because that's essentially what you're doing, right? You're using scissors to cut out pieces of paper and make a drawing, in a sense. All right, so this is my first hill. I'm going to cut it kind of so it's a sloping hill going this way. And I want to cut it bigger than I think I'm going to need it at first, because I can always trim some off. So there's part of my first hill. And I'm going to actually move it down a little, because I think I kind of like the idea of this brown paper underneath as being like the dirt. So I'll glue that hill on first. And this paper, you can see I actually just made on the back of a paper shopping bag. All right, my glue. It's not coming out as quick as I want. Hold on. Open it up a little more. All right. And let's glue that first hill on. There we go. And again, I'm overlapping the edges a little because I can always cut it off. It's better to go bigger than smaller. Okay. So there's one of the hills. I'm actually going to use my glue stick for this part because I think that's going to make this part of the paper stick down better. All right, lots of glue. Now I want to overlap that first hill with a second hill, and I'm going to switch papers. So I've got this collage, this textured paper. You can see the texture of a leaf here. I think I did this against the wall of my treehouse. And then over here I did against a rock. I love the combination of textures. All right, so this hill, again, I'm gonna make it bigger than I know I need it. And then cut some off. So I'll cut across this way. And I want a nice smooth edge. So let's see. I'll have this be my smooth edge on this side. And it's going to overlap this hill. So if I kind of eyeball it and measure it that way with my eyes, I could use a pen as long as I make sure that I don't leave the pen line showing, right? Okay, and I'm going to cut that second hill out. Okay, let's try that baby out. Yes, I love it. Okay, it's coming together, folks. It's coming together. This one I'm going to use, it's a thinner piece of paper, so I'm going to use the glue stick. And there's my clock in the background. It's 12 o'clock, lunchtime.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, sorry. Past lunchtime. Oh my gosh, no wonder I'm starving. Okay, so there's my basic background. All right, got the sky. We've got hill number 1. We've got hill number 2 overlapping. A little bit of dirt showing down here. I kind of like that. All right, my next idea was to actually add some clouds in the sky. So this is my mixed media part. I've got paper, and I said I'm going to use a few other different materials. I grabbed some cotton balls, and I'm going to just kind of rip those cotton balls apart so that they're just shreds. Kind of stretch it a little to make some clouds, wispy clouds up in the sky. Woo! And I got glue on my fingers, so the clouds are sticking to my fingers. All right, let's get some wispy clouds on here. Let's see, there's a little bit of a wispy cloud. I'm going to spread it out, add some more, because I really like the effect of the cloud. A little bit more up here. And you can kind of pull them apart to different thicknesses, like actual clouds. Let me get some more down here. Because clouds aren't usually all in one straight line, right? There might be a couple up here, a couple down here. Maybe some down by the horizon line. Remember the horizon? The imaginary line that separates the earth and the sky. Okay. Ooh, I like it. There's my clouds. Okay. Next, my tree. So this paper I got from it, I did a texture rubbing on a beautiful piece of bark with crayon. And I just, before I started this video, I loosely drew the outlines of a trunk and a few main branches. So now I'm going to cut that out. I'm looking here, this might be a little wider than I want it, but that's okay. It's always easier to make it bigger and then go back and trim it off, right? So when if you're making a tree, one thing that we talked about in 4th grade this year is how if you look at the branches or the trunks of a tree, the branches are always thickest towards the base of the tree and they get thinner as they reach outwards. So I've got my branches here start out thick on the bottom and they get a little thinner up towards the top. I just did the main branches on it because I thought it would be really hard to cut around a whole bunch of little branches. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute, okay? And I actually cut out so that some of the roots would show because I love the way it looks when you see a big old tree and the roots are kind of overlapping the ground. All right, and there's my basic tree shape. So I think this one will work best with the glue stick. So I'm going to use that. And sometimes it's nice if you're using a glue stick to put another piece of paper under it so that you can get right up to the edges and not worry about getting it all over the place. So, all right, I'm going to take my tree now and I'm going to glue it down on top of my hills. All right. You know, I'm realizing it doesn't make sense for the tree to overlap both of the hills. So I'm going to move one of the roots, I mean. All right, there's my tree. And I'm going to actually lift that up and put that root underneath to make it more realistic. Remember, when you put something over something else, it's called overlapping. All right. Now I'm going to add a few smaller branches by just cutting them out like this. All right, and gluing those onto those main branches. And again, doesn't matter if you use liquid glue or a glue stick, whatever you have, whatever works for you. And I'm starting to build my tree more. All right, so there's another branch. Now, I'm thinking of what it looks like outside right now. And in my yard, we have this beautiful magnolia tree. And the magnolia tree is full of these big pink blossoms right now. And I would love to show those big pink blossoms. So, after I add a few more branches on, I'm not going to finish this with you guys. I'm going to finish it afterwards, but I wanted to get you guys started at least. Added a few more branches. The next thing I was thinking I could do, so my clouds are coming off a little, is I can use some paint, which I brought up. I've got some acrylic paints here. Here's a rose color and some white. And I grabbed a paintbrush that I can make some flowers on. So, since this is a pretty abstract picture anyways, my flowers can also be abstract. I'm dabbing some pink and some white because the magnolias in my yard are pink and white. I'm going to take my brush, and this is also a way of texturing as well, right? Using texture. Okay, and I'm going to do some, can you zoom in on this part, Ben? Thanks. I'm going to do some textured magnolia blossoms on my branches. Okay. I'm just really kind of not giving a whole lot of thought, just adding colors where I think it looks right. I definitely need to add some more branches on these trees, so I will be doing that. All right. One last thing, or two last things I want to show you. I grabbed some dandelions. You can kind of use the color of the dandelions in your collage. Now let me show you. If I wanted to show little dandelions in the grass, I'm pressing and twisting, and it actually makes little prints of yellow. It's not very bright, but just enough to show a little bit of nature and color in there. One more little added thing, and I will go back in and add a lot more branches and flowers to my tree. I'm going to take some twine. I thought it would be really nice to put a little swing on my tree. So I'm gonna cut a couple pieces of twine as if it's a rope swing. I can see those are a little too long. My swing will be hanging on the ground. All right, there we go. About that long. I'm gonna put 2 lines of glue where I want my twine to go. Okay, there's number 1. And let's see if we can get that to stick. And number 2. There's my ropes for my rope swing. And where's my little swing? Ben, did you eat my swing again?
I did not.
Silly boy. Okay. All right, well. All right, since I can't find my little piece of twig that I brought in for my swing, I guess I'm gonna have to make one. All right, so I'll use this. Why not? Okay, so I'm just gonna cut. Oh, there it is. All right. Ben did not eat it after all. He wasn't lying. Good thing, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to glue my little swing on. There we go. There's my cute little rope swing. I think I'd like to swing on that beautiful tree. And I can go in now and I can quickly trim my edges so that it fits onto my paper, onto my background rather. All right, and I'll trim this side as well. And there's my collaged landscape. I do definitely have to add some more of those beautiful flowers in there. I might even add a few more wispy clouds because I love that effect. I might put some flowers down in here. But overall, I think it's got a lot of great texture. We did some overlapping. We used some mixed media by incorporating the painted papers, the crayon rubbing papers. I used a piece of bark and some twine, some paint over here. It's just a beautiful, idyllic spring collage. So, I hope you have fun with this. Some other ideas, you could do animals with your textured papers. You could even just do abstract collages where you just take your different textured papers and arrange them in a gorgeous setting. Whatever you choose. I hope you have fun with this. I miss you all. Keep working hard. Keep being awesome. And don't forget, when you've finished your collages, email me pictures so I can put them on your gallery. I love seeing what you guys are doing. All right. Miss you all. Bye.